There comes a moment in every life when you're not just walking through time, you're walking through fire. A moment when everything that was built to destroy you gets launched. The missiles come, attacks come, setbacks come, rejection comes, disappointments, betrayals, loss, pain. They all arrive like warheads from every direction, and yet you're still standing. Why? Because missiles can't stop destiny. Destiny is not a suggestion. It is not a plan B. It is not a backup in case things go wrong. Destiny is divine intention stamped into your soul before you ever breathed your first breath. It is what makes you wake up in the morning even when you're tired. It is what won't let you sleep when you're settling for less. It is what haunts you when you try to shrink into comfort zones. Destiny is stubborn. It won't quit on you, even when you try to quit on it. See, missiles are designed for destruction, but destiny is designed for fulfillment. That's why the enemy doesn't attack who you are. He attacks who you are becoming. If your future didn't scare the forces of darkness, you wouldn't be under attack. The missile is the proof that something powerful is on the horizon. The bigger the destiny, the bigger the resistance. But here's the truth. Resistance is not rejection. It's redirection. It's refinement. And every missile that doesn't kill you is preparing you. People will count you out. Systems will overlook you. Circumstances will trap you. But destiny doesn't require permission. It only needs your agreement. It doesn't ask, are you worthy? It declares you were chosen. Missiles may delay the journey, but they can't detour the destination. Because destiny doesn't live in the hands of men. It lives in the heart of God and the will of the determined. You may have scars, you may be limping, you may be tired, but if you still have a pulse, you still have a purpose. Every missile that missed you proves that your story is not over. Every door that closed was not the end. It was a test. Could you still believe when belief felt foolish? Could you still walk when the path disappeared? Could you still dream when nightmares knocked at your door? Destiny will stretch you. It will offend you. It will expose the fake and strengthen the real. It will pull you out of circles that feel good but keep you small. It will break your comfort to build your calling. But one thing it will never do, it will never abandon you. It's waiting for you to rise, not in your strength, but in your surrender. Not in your pride, but in your purpose. So when the missiles come, and they will, don't panic, don't fold, don't flee, stand tall, smile even, because the enemy just revealed how threatened he is by the promise you carry. Lift your head high and declare it with your chest. Missiles can't stop destiny. They can shake me, but they can't break me. They can wound me, but they can't end me. Because what's inside me is greater than what's against me. You are not here by chance. You are not surviving by accident. There is something inside you that must be delivered to this world. The enemy knows it. That's why he keeps launching missiles. But newsflash, he's already too late. Your destiny is still alive. Now walk like it. Speak like it. Believe like it. Destiny is not about where you are. It's about who you are. That's the foundation. Many people get caught up in chasing locations, positions, and titles, thinking that if they just move to the right city, get into the right relationship, or get the right job, everything will fall into place. But location doesn't determine destiny. Environment doesn't determine purpose. What's on the outside doesn't define what was planted inside of you. Destiny begins within. It was birthed in you long before you took your first step, long before you chose your degree or got your promotion. You didn't invent your destiny. You were born with it, and because it started inside of you, it can't be taken by anything outside of you. That's why missiles can't stop it. You see, a missile can hit your body, your finances, your confidence, even your relationships. But it still can't reach what God put in you. That seed of greatness, that divine assignment, that inner vision, it's buried too deep. It's hidden in the soil of your soul where no weapon can reach. The danger is not the missile, it's forgetting the seed. The greatest threat to destiny is not destruction, it's distraction. The enemy doesn't always come with a roar. Sometimes he whispers. He tells you to settle, to play small, to stop believing. He sends people who discourage you, systems that box you in, circumstances that feel like permanent failure. But his goal isn't just to hurt you. It's to make you doubt what you carry. Because if you ever realize how powerful you are, if you ever wake up and walk in the fullness of your calling, no missile, no man, no system could ever contain you. That's why he sends the attack. The attack is an announcement. The greater the attack, the greater the purpose you carry. Sometimes the missiles don't come with fire. They come with silence, closed doors, delays, seasons where nothing makes sense. You pray, and heaven seems quiet. You try and nothing moves. You feel like you're buried, but listen closely. Buried and planted feel the same. Both are dark, both are low, both are lonely, but only one grows. When destiny is working underground, you won't see the fruit yet, but the roots are getting deeper. Your identity is being refined. Your vision is being stretched. Your faith is being tested, not because it's failing, but because it's being prepared for the weight of what's coming. Destiny doesn't grow in comfort. It grows in contradiction. It's shaped in the seasons where nothing lines up, when God says go, but doors say no, when your heart says, this is it, and life says, not yet. But contradiction is not a cancellation, it's construction. It's where you learn how to believe without seeing, where you learn how to move without applause, where you stop living off approval and start living on conviction. Destiny doesn't need confirmation from man. It only needs consistency from you. It doesn't matter if no one else claps. It doesn't matter if people walk away. It doesn't matter if the path is lonely. Destiny walks alone before it leads many, and if you can endure that season of contradiction, you'll come out with authority, not just ambition. Let me tell you something vital. The missiles are not just about stopping you. They're about shaping you. Every attack that didn't break you built you. Every betrayal that didn't kill you matured you. Every delay that didn't derail you strengthened your roots. You are not a victim. You are evidence. Evidence that what was meant to destroy you is now being used to define you. What you thought was the end was actually the fire that forged your next level. The weapon was formed, but it didn't prosper. That's not poetry. That's reality, because your survival is not random. Your scars are not shame. They're signs. You made it through for a reason, and that reason is tied to your assignment. Destiny is not about you becoming famous. It's about you becoming faithful, faithful to what you were born for, faithful to what you were anointed for. You don't need a platform to walk in purpose. You just need obedience. Missiles can hit your timeline, but they can't hit your purpose. They can delay your clock, but not your call, because time doesn't control destiny. Timing does, and timing belongs to God. Sometimes you're not late. You're being positioned. Sometimes you're not rejected. You're being redirected. That door didn't close to punish you. It closed to protect you. That person left not to break you, but to free you. Everything is aligning for destiny, even when it looks like it's falling apart. So don't fear the missiles. Don't panic in the fire. Don't quit in the contradiction. Remind yourself daily that destiny isn't a moment. It's a journey. It's written in the ink of eternity and cannot be erased by the opinions of man. What you carry is bigger than the conflict around you. What's ahead is greater than what's behind. Don't measure your future by your frustration. Measure it by your foundation, and your foundation is unshakable. Because your destiny is sealed, your assignment is intact, your future is waiting, and no missile can stop what was written in heaven about your life. You were never created to fit in. That's why destiny feels uncomfortable when you try to blend. You were not born to be average. You were designed to disrupt, to challenge, to carry something so unique that it unsettles the atmosphere around you. But the problem is, we live in a world that celebrates imitation and punishes originality. So you start dimming your light to match the room. You start shrinking your vision to keep others comfortable. You trade your calling for approval. But here's the truth. Destiny can never be fulfilled in camouflage. You cannot fulfill a bold assignment with a fearful mindset. Destiny demands exposure. It requires you to step into places where your name isn't known, your voice isn't welcomed, and your presence is misunderstood. But you still go, not because you're qualified, but because you're called. Not because you feel ready, but because you refuse to stay hidden. And every time you step out despite fear, you take one more step into your divine assignment. That's the paradox of purpose. It doesn't wait for comfort. It demands courage. It demands clarity. It demands that you stop negotiating with your calling and start walking in it, fully and unapologetically. But when you step out, you must be ready, because the missiles will follow. The more you stand up, the more you'll be targeted. That's not paranoia. It's confirmation. The presence of pressure is not the absence of purpose. It's the evidence of impact. You were born to disturb darkness. You carry light, and darkness never welcomes light quietly. It resists it. It pushes back. That's why opposition doesn't mean you're in the wrong place. It often means you're finally in the right one. The attack is not personal. It's positional. It's about where you're headed, not where you've been. That's why missiles don't show up in the comfort zone. They only launch when destiny is near. But here's what most people don't see. Every time you refuse to retreat, you gain ground. Every time you hold your peace under pressure, your character is being built. Every time you rise again after being knocked down, your authority is being formed. Destiny doesn't come through ease. It comes through endurance. You don't grow by avoiding fire. You grow by walking through it. You don't develop strength by avoiding battles. You develop it by surviving them. And what's amazing is that every enemy, every critic, every missile that was sent to silence, you actually contributed to the very thing they tried to kill. Don't be confused. Your destiny is not to live a quiet, convenient life. It is to carry something so powerful, so essential, that others are waiting on your obedience. Someone's breakthrough is locked inside your voice. Someone's healing is tied to your journey. Someone's inspiration is connected to your survival. That's why giving up is not an option. You may not see it yet, but your life is not just about you. You are a vessel, a bridge, a carrier of purpose that was meant to change lives you haven't even met yet. But you can't carry that if you're constantly looking back. Regret will rob you. Guilt will paralyze you. Doubt will steal your momentum. The missiles may have hit, but they didn't win. You're still here. And if you're still here, there's still more. Stop rehearsing the pain. Start declaring the promise. Stop reliving the failure. Start walking in the future. Destiny cannot be built on the ashes of shame. It has to rise on the foundation of truth. And the truth is this. You are not your past. You are not your pain. You are not your mistake. You are who God says you are, and His word never returns void. Let that settle in your soul, because the more you agree with truth, the less power lies will have over you. Destiny doesn't need you to be perfect. It needs you to be aligned with your source, aligned with your assignment, aligned with the reason you were born. When alignment happens, clarity increases, strength multiplies, distractions lose their voice, and suddenly you stop living in reaction to the missiles and start moving in the rhythm of purpose. Purpose gives you posture. You stop begging. You stop chasing validation. You stop bending for people who were never assigned to your future. You stop fearing doors that close, because you understand that anything meant for you cannot miss you. You start to walk differently, not arrogantly, but boldly. Because when destiny becomes real to you, fear loses its grip. You stop wondering if you belong and start declaring, "I was born for this." Even in weakness, even in struggle, even in silence, you say, "I may not see the way, but I know I was made for this path." And that belief, that unshakable internal agreement, is what missiles fear the most. They don't fear your gifts. They fear your mindset, because once your mind is made up, you're unstoppable. Once your spirit says yes, no circumstance can break that agreement. The missiles may fly, the critics may talk, the seasons may shift, but nothing moves the person who knows why they were born. You were born with a blueprint inside of you. No one else has it. No one else can replace it. Your job is not to compare it, it's to complete it. That's why you're still breathing. That's why you're still standing, because destiny is not done with you, and no missile ever will be. You don't need everyone to understand your destiny. In fact, you should expect that most won't. Some people can't see your purpose because it doesn't fit inside their perspective. They measure your future based on your past. They judge your calling by your current condition. They place limits around your potential because they can't grasp what God has placed in you. But destiny was never given to the crowd. It was given to you, and what is given privately doesn't need public validation to be fulfilled. One of the greatest weights a person can carry is the burden of being misunderstood. You try to explain the vision, but people look at you like you're crazy. You try to share your ideas, and they call it too much. You step out in faith, and they call it pride. But what they don't know is that you've been wrestling with this calling for years. That dream didn't come out of nowhere. It's been beating in your chest since before they ever heard your name. And what they call too ambitious, God calls right on time. Destiny doesn't always make sense in the beginning. It often looks strange, inconvenient, even foolish, because destiny doesn't follow the rules of comfort or culture. It's not packaged in perfection. It's born in tension, in contradiction, in mystery. You're called to lead, but you feel weak. You're called to speak, but you stutter. You're called to build, but you're broke. That's how you know it's real, because if you could do it in your own strength, it wouldn't require any faith. And destiny will always demand faith, not comfort, not applause, just faith. Faith is the oxygen of destiny. Without it, your purpose suffocates under the weight of fear, doubt, and delay. The danger isn't in failing, it's in freezing. It's in letting uncertainty convince you to play small. But let me tell you this, destiny doesn't wait on perfect conditions. It shows up in chaos. It shows up in wilderness seasons. It shows up when everything around you says, this isn't the right time. And something inside you says, move anyway. That's when faith is tested. That's when purpose is forged. Too many people are sitting on their calling because they're waiting for permission, waiting for people to agree, waiting for all the lights to turn green before they drive. But destiny doesn't operate like that. You have to move while it's still dark. You have to build when no one sees it. You have to write the book before the publisher believes in it. You have to start the business before the investors notice. You have to walk like it's already done, even when nothing around you looks like it. That's faith. That's obedience. And that's where destiny begins to unfold. People will question your decisions. They will mock your process. They will leave when they don't understand your mission. But don't let their confusion become your compromise. You don't need their confirmation. You need your conviction. Your agreement with your calling is more powerful than their applause. Because when destiny speaks, it doesn't ask who agrees. It asks, will you obey? This is where it gets real. Destiny requires sacrifice. You can't say yes to purpose and yes to comfort at the same time. Something has to be laid down: pride, fear, people, pleasing, familiarity. Your yes will cost you something, and it should, because what you're carrying is holy. It's not casual. It's not convenient. It's weighty. That dream, that assignment, that vision, it's meant to outlive you, and if it's going to outlive you, it has to break you first. Break the ego, break the illusions, break the excuses, until what remains is pure surrender. And in that surrender you'll find clarity. You'll begin to see that every closed door wasn't a curse. It was a covering. Every delay wasn't denial. It was development. You weren't being rejected. You were being refined. Because destiny doesn't just call the qualified. It qualifies the called. That means everything you've been through, every scar you carry, every failure you regret, none of it is wasted. It's all a part of the becoming. The shaping, the stretching, and when the time comes, those same people who doubted you will look back and say, "How did they make it?" And your answer will be simple: "I didn't wait for permission. I moved with conviction." Destiny is not for the passive. It is not for the easily offended. It is not for those who need constant applause to keep going. Destiny is for the relentless, for the focused, for the ones who don't mind walking alone, crying in silence, pushing through fear, and still showing up. It's for the ones who understand that being misunderstood is part of the price, that greatness doesn't grow in safe places, that legacy doesn't come from comfort. It comes from courage. You may not have the support. You may not have the resources. You may not have the clarity. But if you have the call, you have enough. Start with what you have. Move with what you know. Walk with what you feel in your spirit. Because destiny is waiting. Not for a perfect you, but for a present you. Not for the applause, but for the action. Not for the crowd, but for your commitment. And once you make up your mind to obey, even when misunderstood, you'll find out that favor follows obedience, that heaven backs the bold, and that every missile launched against your destiny will fall powerless to the ground when you walk in alignment with your assignment. You don't need a crown to be royalty. You don't need applause to walk in authority. You don't need a title to carry impact. What makes destiny powerful is not external validation. It's internal revelation. Until you realize who you are, you'll keep acting like someone you were never created to be. Identity is the birthplace of purpose. If you don't know who you are, you'll misuse what you carry. You'll waste time trying to become something that already lives inside you. You'll search for affirmation in people who don't even know how to value your presence. But once you know, really know, that your identity was sealed before you were even born, you stop begging for permission to be great. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. You stop apologizing for your fire. You stop holding back your vision so that insecure minds can feel safe. You stop explaining yourself to people who were never assigned to your journey. Destiny is not about being liked, it's about being aligned. And alignment starts with knowing, I am not random, I am not a mistake, I am not a product of circumstance, I am an answer to a problem in the earth. I was sent here on purpose, with purpose, and for purpose. The enemy doesn't fight people without purpose. That's why the warfare has been intense. That's why the attacks have been strategic. Because if he can keep you confused about who you are, he can stop you from doing what you were born to do. The battlefield isn't just around you. It's within you. The war is for your identity. Because if he can steal your clarity, he can hijack your authority. And if he hijacks your authority, you'll live beneath your calling, even though you were created to walk in dominion. You were not made to survive life. You were made to lead it. You were not created to blend in. You were built to take territory. You don't need to become someone else to do it. You just need to become everything you already are. But most people never access that level of power because they live their lives as prisoners of opinion. They allow the voices around them to silence the voice within them. They let rejection redefine them. They let past mistakes mark them, but your mistakes are not your identity. They're just part of your process. Your failures are not a verdict. They're a classroom. You learn, you grow, you rise. That's destiny. And once you learn how to see through the lens of purpose, even your pain becomes meaningful. You stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "What is this trying to unlock in me?" You realize that nothing was wasted. The heartbreak matured you, the betrayal sharpened you, the isolation trained you, the disappointment humbled you. You're not just walking through life randomly. You're being refined, shaped, prepared. Because destiny doesn't place untrained people on platforms. It breaks them first. It tests their posture, their discipline, their motives, their humility. And when they pass through that fire, they come out with something real. Something weighty, something eternal. You can't fake destiny. You can't pretend your way into purpose. You have to be forged in the secret place. That's where the fire is. That's where the tears fall. That's where the doubts scream. But that's also where the strength is built. The confidence, the wisdom, the character. When God gets ready to elevate you, He doesn't start with your gift. He starts with your foundation. Because a weak character can't carry a heavy calling. A fragile ego can't survive real impact. So before the doors open, He makes sure the roots go deep. That way, when the missiles come, and they will, you won't crumble. You'll stand. It's not about being fearless. It's about being anchored. People think strength is loud, but real strength is quiet. Real strength is obedience when no one is watching. Real strength is holding your vision in silence, praying over your future in secret, carrying burdens others can't see, and still showing up with fire. Real strength is loving people who wounded you, staying humble in the face of success, and staying focused when distractions come disguised as opportunities. Destiny demands maturity. It asks you to outgrow things that once felt comfortable, to leave behind relationships that no longer align, to break cycles that your whole bloodline considered normal. Destiny doesn't let you stay shallow. It pulls you deeper. It requires you to grow emotionally, spiritually, mentally. You can't be the same version of yourself and expect a greater dimension of your calling. Elevation demands transformation, and transformation always feels like death before it feels like resurrection. But here's the truth. What feels like the end is often just the upgrade. What feels like loss is often alignment. What feels like breaking is actually birthing. That dream, that promise, that vision, it's not dead. It's maturing, and when the time is right, nothing can stop it. No man, no devil, no system, no weapon, no delay. When God breathes on destiny, it rises. And when it rises, everything around it has to adjust. Because destiny doesn't conform to circumstances. Circumstances conform to destiny. That's why you don't give up. That's why you don't settle. That's why you don't edit your purpose to make it more palatable. You were never meant to be easy to digest. You were meant to shift atmospheres, to carry fire, to walk in divine timing. And when you walk like that, not even 1,000 missiles can touch what's been sealed by heaven. If you wait until you feel ready, you'll miss your moment. Destiny doesn't wait for you to be confident. It waits for you to be obedient, and obedience is rarely convenient. It often shows up when you're still doubting, still questioning, still unsure of how it will all work out. But that's the test, not of your ability, of your trust, because destiny isn't built by talent alone. It's built by surrender. It's built by your willingness to move when there's no applause, to give when you're running empty, to speak when your voice shakes, and to keep walking when your legs feel like giving out. That's the making of a world changer. Not someone who feels strong all the time, but someone who moves anyway. The people who shift nations aren't fearless. They're focused. They've decided, even if I feel fear, I won't let fear decide for me. That's what separates those who fulfill destiny from those who just admire it from a distance. The ones who fulfill it refuse to live according to emotion. They live by conviction. They're not driven by feelings. They're governed by assignment, and when you live like that, it doesn't mean the journey gets easier. It means you get stronger. Every step forward adds weight to your walk. You may not even notice it, but every time you push through, something is being built in you. Endurance, grit, discernment, focus, and that's what missiles can't stop. The outside can be shaken, but if the inside is rooted, you can't be moved. You might cry, but you'll keep building. You might fall, but you'll rise with more clarity. You might bleed, but you'll still lead, because there's something deeper at work in you, something no weapon can touch. And when you walk like that, your life becomes a message, not just your words, your walk. Your scars preach louder than your sermons. Your faith in hard seasons says more than any post or performance ever could. People start to see that what you carry isn't fabricated. It's forged. It's been through fire. And that's why it has power. That's why it carries weight, because it didn't come cheap. You paid for it in silence, in isolation, in discipline, in obedience. And that's why it can't be shaken, because you didn't borrow it. You became it. Destiny doesn't make you famous. It makes you faithful. It's not about being seen. It's about being solid. And you don't get there overnight. You get there through layers. Layers of pain that taught you how to persevere. Layers of disappointment that taught you how to discern. Layers of loss that taught you what to let go of. Layers of success that tested your humility. Layers of pressure that revealed your posture. And every time you kept going, even when you didn't feel like it, another layer of purpose was unlocked in you. That's why you can't afford to play small. Playing small is not humility. It's disobedience. When you know you've been called to impact lives, hiding your gift is not modesty. It's fear, and fear has a way of dressing up like wisdom. It tells you, wait until they support you. It whispers, maybe this isn't the right time. But deep down, you know what you carry can't stay buried. There's a fire in your bones, a stirring in your spirit, a knowing that you weren't just born to survive cycles. You were born to break them. You carry legacy. You carry answers. You carry change. And it's time you stop negotiating with your calling. Your future depends on your full agreement with your assignment. You can't walk in destiny while entertaining doubt. At some point, you have to silence every other voice and make a decision. I will walk this out. I will show up for this calling. I will release what was planted in me, even if they don't understand it, even if I don't feel ready, even if I have to walk alone. Because destiny doesn't come dressed in comfort. It shows up in the middle of inconvenience and demands a yes. A yes that costs you comfort. A yes that separates you from the familiar. A yes that doesn't make sense to others, but brings peace to your spirit. And once you give that yes, really give it, doors will open, clarity will increase, and favor will begin to follow you. Not because you earned it, but because you aligned with what heaven already spoke over your life. That's the power of alignment. It makes room for you in places you never campaigned to be in. It positions you before people you never thought would notice you. Not because you pushed your way in, but because you prepared in silence. Destiny rewards the disciplined, it honors the hidden, it promotes the faithful, and when your time comes, you won't have to fight for it. It will recognize you. What's yours will find you when you're fully in position. So don't waste time trying to convince people of your calling. Just live it. Let the fruit speak. Let the impact speak. Let the consistency speak. You don't owe everyone an explanation. You owe your Creator your obedience. And the moment you choose obedience over opinion, you'll find that no missile, no delay, no failure, and no setback can stop what was sealed in eternity. There's a reason the enemy throws so much at you. It's not because of where you are. It's because of where you're headed. He doesn't waste resources on people with no future. He targets the chosen. He wages war against potential. He studies patterns and launches attacks not at your past, but at your promise. And if you don't understand that, you'll misread your battles. You'll start to think that you're being punished when in fact you're being prepared. You'll think the chaos means you're doing something wrong when really it's confirmation that you're on the right path. Pressure is proof of purpose. Fire is evidence of value. No one throws stones at an empty house, and the more dangerous your assignment, the more strategic the attacks will be. But here's what changes everything. When you realize that no matter how many missiles are fired, destiny can't be stopped. The only thing the enemy can do is try to distract you, delay you, or make you doubt what you already know in your spirit. Because he can't cancel what heaven has already confirmed. So he hopes you'll disqualify yourself before you even get there. That's his only plague at you to forfeit. You see, destiny isn't just about achievement. It's about endurance. It's not just about talent. It's about tenacity. Can you hold on when it gets dark? Can you keep moving when there's no applause? Can you stay faithful when nobody sees your sacrifice? That's the real test. Because everybody loves the idea of greatness, but few are willing to pay the price of it. And the truth is, destiny will cost you everything that isn't aligned with it. Comfort, popularity, familiarity, your old identity, and yes, it's painful, but it's necessary. You're not called to fit in. You're called to rise, and rising means letting go. You can't take old habits into a new dimension. You can't carry dead weight into a divine calling. Some relationships will fall off. Some opportunities will close. Some seasons will end. But don't mourn what God removes to protect what He's building in you. You're not being abandoned. You're being advanced. You're not losing. You're leveling up. Destiny isn't fragile, it's fierce, and it doesn't ask your emotions for permission to proceed. You will feel like quitting. You will wonder if it's even worth it. But every time you want to give up, something deep inside whispers, keep going. That's your purpose speaking. That's your assignment reminding you that the pain is temporary, but the impact is eternal. You weren't designed to break. You were built to withstand. You were crafted for this. Before you were formed, the blueprint was written, and if you stay the course, the same pressure that tried to crush you will launch you. Your story is not over. It's just in the middle, and the middle is messy. The middle is when you question, when you're tired, when you don't see how it will work out. But the middle is also where your faith grows, where your roots go deep, where your voice is refined. The middle is the making of the message. And if you can endure the middle, you'll reach the mandate. Because the finish line isn't for the fastest. It's for the faithful. Faithfulness doesn't look glamorous. It's not always visible. It's in the decisions nobody sees, the early mornings, the late nights, the prayers whispered in exhaustion, the steps taken in fear. It's quiet. It's steady, but it builds legacy. And legacy isn't about being remembered. It's about making sure what you carried gets passed on. That's destiny, not fame, not recognition, but impact that outlives you. And the only way to get there is to stop being casual with your calling. You don't have time to entertain distractions. You don't have the luxury to procrastinate on your assignment. You don't get to put your purpose on pause because people don't get it. This is the hour to be serious, to be focused, to protect your oil, because your anointing isn't common, your assignment isn't regular, and your obedience isn't optional. You've got to be willing to walk alone if necessary. You've got to be okay with being misunderstood. You've got to stop trying to explain what God whispered to people who can't hear at your frequency. Because once you finally realize that you were never meant to blend in, you'll stop trying. You'll stop diluting your message. You'll stop toning down your light. You'll stop seeking validation in empty places. Destiny doesn't require you to be accepted. It requires you to be authentic, and authenticity means alignment. It means you don't shift with the crowd. You stand with the call. It means you don't chase trends. You steward truth. That's what sets you apart. That's what gives your voice weight. That's what makes you unstoppable. Not your strength, not your perfection, but your obedience, your alignment, your willingness to say yes when it's inconvenient, when it's uncomfortable, when it's uncertain, because that yes is what moves heaven. That yes is what breaks cycles. That yes is what terrifies hell. You don't need all the answers. You just need the right yes. And when you give it, fully, consistently, unapologetically, missiles can fly, storms can rage, people can walk away, but nothing can stop what's been placed in motion by purpose. So now you know. You were never fighting for survival. You were being shaped for significance. The fire wasn't sent to destroy you. It was sent to reveal you. The missiles were never a threat to your destiny. They were proof that destiny was already alive in you. You've been walking through warfare, but the fact that you're still standing means purpose has already won. You've cried, yes. You've wrestled with doubt, yes. But you're still here, and that alone is evidence that what's in you is greater than anything sent against you. This is your moment to shift, to stop waiting, to stop hiding, to stop giving fear more authority than faith. Destiny is not coming. It's here. The only thing left to do is respond, not later, not when it's easy, now. This is your call to rise, to own your voice, to walk in full obedience, because what's ahead of you is too important to be delayed by what's behind you, and no weapon, no rejection, no failure, no delay, no betrayal can cancel what heaven already wrote about you. You were born with fire, born with answers, born with legacy, and it's time to release it. Because the world is not waiting for perfect people. It's waiting for real ones. People who know who they are. People who are rooted in truth. People who are unshakable, unbought, unafraid. That's who you are. That's who you've always been, and now it's your turn to walk in it. Loud, clear, bold, free. Because no matter what comes against you, one truth will never change. Missiles can't stop destiny.